Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Today I'm continuing my series of counting down my 100 favorite movies of all time. We are now at number 45 through 41 on my list. So yeah, I got some great stuff. Definitely a huge classic I think a lot of people will agree with on my list. I got an anime movie here, one of my favorite. Maybe one surprise, and yeah, another Marvel. So hopefully people enjoy my thoughts on these movies. So let's get to it here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing well here on a Friday evening. Weather's getting slightly cooler, which is nice. It's not 100-degree weather outside. It seems like we're almost getting into fall weather almost, which feels very nice. Football's back. Chiefs won their very first game against the Ravens. Sorry, Ryan, I know you're a Ravens fan, but nice to see football back again, all that. So yeah, but let's get to my list of 100 favorite movies. So we're starting with number 45 on my list. And this one, I feel like I've always loved this movie, and I feel like a lot of people don't care about this movie that much. So I might be alone on it, but I still stand by it. And number 45 is Radio. Did I see? I don't think I might have saw it in the theater. I can't even remember right now. But yeah, you got Cuba Gooding Jr., Ed Harris to create actors. And it's based on it's a true story of an individual that Cuba Gooding Jr. plays, who's mentally challenged. And he's nicknamed Radio because he loves listening to, and this is back in the 70s probably takes place in the 70s. He loves those radios, the handheld radios that they used to have back in the day, I guess. And Ed Harris is a football coach, and he kind of takes a radio under his wing and lets him help out with the football team and kind of gives him, lets him be part of the group. He's kind of an outsider because he's mentally challenged, and he gets bullied and all this, and they have this incredible friendship. That's what's so great about the movie, and what I love about it is the friendship that they. It's based on a true story. These characters are real, and based on their story, based on a news story that they did on them. But yeah, it's just a very heartwarming movie. Yeah, a lot of great heartwarming scenes. It's also very funny though. I think there's a lot of good comedy in here. The acting is really good. I don't know. I thought Cuba Gooding did a good job as this mentally challenged character, Radio. I know he got nominated, or maybe he won. I know he got nominated for a Razzie for worst performance of the year. And I was like, man, I would have given him an Oscar. I thought he was great. So maybe that's just me. Ed Harris, oh, so good. I mean, Ed Harris, one of the greatest actors ever. Multiple Oscar-nominated actor. So many of my movies, I have a lot of movies I absolutely love from Ed Harris. Anytime he's in a movie, I'm like, man, you're going to get a good performance. And I thought he was great as kind of one of the main characters as the coach here. Anyways, I don't know, it's a little cheesy at times. I think a lot of people don't like it because there's some cheesy moments in there. It's a little over the top with the sappiness at times. And I do agree, sometimes it's a little too much. It's supposed to be kind of almost, I don't know if it's a small town, you want to say, somewhat small town. And every time after a game, the coach goes to the barbershop, and there's all these guys that just hang out at the barbershop. And he goes over there and drinks some coffee and says, a good game tonight, And it's a little okay, really? I'm from a small town. We didn't all hang out in a barbershop talking about football necessarily. Anyways, but overall though, man, love the movie. Has some really very touching moments. I love the fact that you have this guy who's kind of mentally challenged, yet he's the best because of that. He's actually very nice to everybody. He actually is very honest. He doesn't rat people out, even when he gets bullied. He, I don't know, he's kind of like you see the best in humanity in this guy, and you kind of see other characters around kind of realize this, like, gosh, this guy should be angry at the world for for his disability, yet he's the nicest guy, the most positive, the most upbeat person, so you learn a lot from that, I think. Anyway, I don't know. So I actually love it. Radio, number 45 on my list. All right, number 44, pretty big movie here that you'll see on a lot of people's list. And that is Star Wars A New Hope, the very first Star Wars. This is my Blu-ray pack of all three, so I'm going to show it again a couple more times on my list. But yeah, out of the three movies, A New Hope I put in third. It's my third favorite Star Wars movie. And all three are great. I have incredible nostalgia. I mean, I remember being a little kid and seeing Star Wars for the first time and just my mind blown. Jedi's, Force, love all that. Aliens, other planets, space travel. Man, I was hooked in from the very beginning when I was a kid and started watching these movies. And I've been obsessed over them my whole life, pretty much. And I've watched these so many times. So it had to be high up on here. Just for the fact that I have so much nostalgia for this movie and love for it, growing up. And even watching it today, I still get so much enjoyment out of it. It's just a really good tale of, a hero's journey. And it's very, groundbreaking for movies. I mean, this movie, of course, did crazy numbers in the box office. And I feel like a lot of people are trying to make the next Star Wars. Every time you make a movie, you compare it to Star Wars, sci-fi anyways. Sci-fi action adventure, you think of Star Wars. So it's like, is this Star Wars? Everybody wants to make the next Star Wars, So, I mean, to me, it's one of the most influential movies of all time for good reason. And still, I think what I like about the movie is it's very well paced. It's like I said, I love the story idea of this Luke, being like just this moisture farmer kid who, wants to go out and have adventures. He dreams about it. And then it turns out he's like, actually it's got this, he's like destined to be the hero, and so he ends up getting to do the things he's always dreamed about doing. Of course, when they learn about his dark past with his, what his father and then Darth Vader and all that, and the Empire and the Force, and he ends up being, the hero of the story. So I love the idea of like somebody who, is kind of a nobody, then becomes the hero. We've seen it a lot of times before, but this is like, one of the greatest, I think, storytellings of that. And then the still great stuff. When they attack, now I'm forgetting the name. When they the Death Star, when they attack the Death Star at the end, oh my gosh, still I love that, how they do all that footage and how he destroys it. I mean, it's all incredible. The characters are great. I mean, I love Han Solo. Harrison Ford is so good. He became a star after this. And Han Solo is one of the greatest characters of all time. Probably my favorite Star Wars character of all time. And you see it from the beginning. He just kills it here. I think Princess Leia is so good as well. I love the back and forth bickering between Han Solo and Leia is great. So the dynamics of the characters really work. Luke, Leia, and Han especially. I mean, those three are so good together. And the Alec Guinness does a great job. Of course, got Oscar nominated for his Obi-Wan Kenobi performance. I thought a really good performance by him as well. Iconic bad guy. I mean, Darth Vader, one of the probably greatest villain of all time. Love the look of the character and how intimidating he is. And then I love the idea of the Force and Jedis and lightsabers. I love lightsabers. We don't get a good lightsaber battle. That's why it's probably in third place for me as far as Star Wars movies, because we don't really get a good lightsaber battle like we do the other two. But this definitely sets up the story very well. All the characters, the world building is amazing. It still works today for me. And like I said, I just love how it paced, from beginning to end. We get to meet, Luke, and then you get on the Death Star, and they have to escape that. And we have that whole adventure part. And then you get the third act where they have to go back and destroy it in the space battles. So, I mean, it's just really well told story, I think. Doesn't seem to take too long, doesn't linger, it gets in and out, you have a lot of fun with it. Still works for me today as just a really solid sci-fi tale that, like I said, it's transcended, the movie business a lot of ways. Oh, and then you have to talk about the score. John Williams' score is so good. One of the greatest scores of all time. And the special effects, even back in 77, it's still, of course, these are like I got like the, updated versions, whatever. So they put in a lot of new stuff in there and all this. But still, special effects really work. The sound effects, I mean, on a technical level, it's just a really great technical achievement anyway. So yeah, Star Wars: A New Hope here at number 44 on my list. Number 43. This is my favorite Muppet movie, Muppets Christmas Carol. Also, top 5 favorite Christmas movie as well. I already talked about the Muppet movie is my second favorite movie that I've talked about already on my list. And so this is the second Muppet movie to make my list. And again, I have a lot of nostalgia for Muppet movies. Saw these in the theater, loved them when I was a kid. Still today, I still get a lot out of these movies. And I love the characters, obviously. Have so much, like I said, nostalgia, so much joy out of these characters. I love that they're telling, this is my favorite, story of all time, Christmas Carol. I love that story, and it's been done so many times, and I've seen so many different versions of it, and this is my favorite version of the story, because you do have the, Muppets, so you do have a lot of good comedy in there, especially I love Gonzo playing the author who wrote the story. I'm forgetting on top of my mind. But anyways, and then I love the rat, Rizzo, the rat, whatever. Gonzo and Rizzo have such great chemistry in this movie. And they have a lot of the laughs, I would say, in the movie. Yeah, I love those two characters, but I love the whole story, of course. It's such a great story of Scrooge, It still works even in the musical comedy it's a Muppet movie, but yet the story works so well, like it always does. Scrooge being the worst individual, rich, terrible human being, and then through one night, through seeing stuff that happened in the past, present, and what will be his future, he changes to a good human being. Oh, just a great storytelling, and they do such a good job here. And the music is so good. I love these Christmas songs. Feels Like Christmas and One More Night Till Christmas. God Bless Us One and All. Oh my gosh, so great. And Tiny Tim, he kills me. Every time I see Tiny Tim, I start crying. I don't know, it is the most sympathetic character ever invented. Even as a little Muppet frog, I shed a tear when I see, what happens to Tiny Tim, if the future isn't changed, Here's a kid who has this disease. He can't walk very well. He's sick all the time. And yet he brings so much joy to everybody. He's, not sorry for himself. He doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for himself. He wants to do what he can to help other people, feel good. That's just how incredible character he is. He should have, again, all the reasons to be angry and be bitter and all this. And Tiny Tim isn't none of that. He even says, we should, bless, say a blessing for Mr. Scrooge, even though he's a horrible human being. I mean, and that's what turns Scrooge around from bad to good. I think the only thing that changed Scrooge from being a bad guy to a good guy is that when he saw Tiny Tim and saw how incredible this character is, this little kid who, like I said, should be angry, but yet is so positive and should be the least person that should be positive. Here, Scrooge has all the money in the world and he's such a negative person. And here's this poor kid who's sick, dying, and who's positive, and it changes Scrooge into being a good person. Anyway, so I can talk all day about that, but love that character. Still, the song "God Bless Us One and All" shed tears every time. So yeah, it's a funny movie. The music is amazing, and it makes me cry. So that's why it has to be up pretty high on my list here at number 43, A Muppet Christmas Carol. At 42, I got one of my favorite anime movies of all time. In fact, my second favorite Pixar movie. That is Monsters Incorporated. And I just saw Adam from What the Gems list. I think he had this in his top 25 movies. So I'm like, all right, I agree with you, Adam. Love this movie. Saw it in theater. Loved it. Seen it many times since. Like I said, one of the greatest animation movies of all time, I think. Love the world building of this fictional monstropolis, monster world where the only way to, and it's such a great idea, I think, really great storytelling, great script and everything, that the monster world needs, they've somehow discovered that if you make kids scream, it gives power to the city. So that's why they scare kids. And that's, of course, the whole, monster in your closet or monster under the bed kind of thing, horror story that you hear. And that's like true, that there are monsters that travel from the monster world into the human world, scare kids, get their screams, and use it for like electricity, energy, that's your energy source. So it's a really cool idea to go, okay, this is the motivation of these monsters, to scare kids. It's not out of evilness, it's just to sustain their society. I thought that was a really cool idea. But anyways, yeah, I mean, come on, Sully and Mike. Billy Crystal, so good as Mike. Mike is one of my favorite, Mike Krakowski or something like that. His name is. Mike is one of my favorite animated characters of all time. Great side character, absolutely hilarious. Billy Crystal, so good. And then John Goodman. John Goodman's one of the greatest, I think, voice actors there are. I don't know what it is about his voice. It's so good in these roles like this and Emperor's New Groove. But yeah, their dynamic is so good. I mean, these two characters, their friendship, everything is so great. And then what really makes the movie great for me is the animation is amazing too. I mean, there's so many amazing animation moments. But the little girl they call Boo, because they don't have a name for her, so they call her Boo. And the relationship that she has with Sully, this big scary monster, is trying to protect this little girl and kind of falls, I don't know what to say. He kind of loves this little girl because she's so cute and so sweet. And he's spent his whole life scaring kids. And then he just sees, oh, I'm scaring this kid. And that's a terrible thing. That moment when he sees her expression after he accidentally scares her, like, oh my gosh, what a heartbreaking moment where he realized, like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing this horrible thing, scaring kids. And I didn't really realize until I saw it on this girl's face, how terrible, he feels kind of guilty about, what he does. And of course, guilty about scaring her and all this. So there's some really great character moments in this movie, some really good emotional moments as well. And it's very funny, of course, like I said, a hilarious movie. It has a very, there's a kind of a mystery, there's some twists in the story, some really good twists. Some great adventure moments, especially towards the end when they're Randall, the bad guy, is chasing them and they're going through these different doors. Oh, so wonderfully animated and told and thrilling. Really well done. And then you get the ending. The ending, oh my gosh, another movie that just makes me cry every time I watch it. The ending, because they have to put Boo back into the human world, and he misses her. And then I'm spoiling the movie, I'm sorry, but hopefully this is like 25 years old, almost probably by this point. They find out that children laughing gives you more energy than screams. And so that's oh man, what a great idea, twist in the story where you go, oh, now they're trying to make kids laugh. And like, what a positive image of like, the whole monster world realizes, hey, we just need to make kids laugh, not scream, and so that's good for everybody. And then him wanting to see Boo again, and then that very last shot where we hear Boo's voice and the smile on his face. Oh my gosh, so heartbreaking. Not heartbreaking. That's not the right word. It's just so heartwarming, I guess. I don't know. It just, again, you're like, oh my gosh, like somehow they made me care about this relationship so much that I get emotional at the end. So anyway, so Monster Incorporated, amazing Pixar movie, animation movie, here at number 42 on my list. One more movie to talk about, number 41. And we got one of my favorite Marvel movies. Again, I feel like I have a Marvel movie almost every time I do one of these things. I do love a lot of stuff the MCU's done. I think is amazing personally. And we got Captain America Civil War here at number 41. Yeah, one of my favorite MCU movies of all time, superhero movies, all that. It's a Captain America movie, but it's more like an Avengers movie. You got almost all the Avengers here basically come together. Um, you know, you got this whole story about Captain America and his best friend Bucky, the Winter Soldier, who is a fugitive because he was under Russian mind control and he did a lot of crimes and stuff like that. But now he's kind of back to not being controlled anymore. And so you love that friendship between him and Captain America, Steve Rogers, and now Steve Rogers is trying to help him, you know, even though he's done so many bad things, he knows he only did because he was mind controlled, and how he's trying to help him out through all this difficulty. So you love all that. Man, so many great characters here. You got Black Panther gets, and Chadwick Boseman. We get his introduction in this movie before he has a solo movie, and he's really good here. We get Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man for the first time with Tom Holland, who's really good in this movie as well. I can't think of anybody else. And we get Ant-Man in this after he did his solo movie. We get Ant-Man in this as well. So I love all these different superhero characters come together. It's so great. And I guess you have to say the action. It's one of the best action movies ever made. That first scene where they're trying to stop one bad guy, I forget his name, from getting this like bomb or something like that. The action sequence is great. And then you have to talk about the airport scene where it's called Civil War because the superheroes take different sides on the issue, and actually the good guys are fighting each other, which is weird, but you know, it kind of makes sense when a little bit. Part of me is like, why can't we just talk this out? But still, that's an incredible scene where all the characters kind of line up from one side to the other and they run towards each other, and it's one of the greatest action scenes of all time. And I don't know, it's incredible how they directed it, how they moved, because all the different characters are in different fights throughout the airport. Anyways, and how that whole scene tells the story from beginning to finish of the different characters. And we see like Captain America and Spider-Man meet for the first time, and they have a little fight, you know, and we see all the characters shine. Like, that's what's incredible. It's like, it's hard to have that many characters in one movie and have them all have a moment where they shine. And I think he does a really good job in that airport scene. But yeah, that's really why this movie gets so high on my list, because that airport fight scene is one of my favorite scenes of all time. Probably one of the best Marvel scenes of all time, superhero scenes, whatever you want to say. It's a great moment where all these great characters get together, you know. Love that scene. But also what I love about this movie is the emotional moment. At the end, we get this incredible fight scene with Captain America and Iron Man, who were always had kind of animosity towards each other, but, you know, of course, helped save the world. And so they're most part are friends, but then then they have to fight each other because of Bucky, because of the Winter Soldier. Steve Rogers wants to protect him. Iron Man wants to kill him for what he did. I won't say exactly what happened there, but for something that he did, he wants to kill him. It's a very emotional moment. Great performance from Robert Downey Jr. I'm so glad he finally won an Oscar for Oppenheimer. But to me, his Tony Stark, he's been given so many great performances throughout the MCU. Another incredible performance from Robert Downey Jr. here. And that whole fight sequence and how that happens, incredibly choreographed. And again, great emotional moments there. Satisfactory ending for sure. But yeah, this is just from beginning to end, just incredible action, incredible storytelling, incredible characters, incredible directing. Yeah, like I said, one of my favorite superhero movies. So that's here at number 41, Captain America Civil War. So that's my 5 movies for today, 45 to 41. Please comment. What do you think about these movies? Are they on your list at all? I love to read anybody's comments. I appreciate it. And just thank you to everybody that watched this video. Thank you for liking it. And thank you to all my subscribers for supporting this channel. I appreciate you all and hope you have a good day.